what is metaphysics?
Oh, I would be delighted to. Thank you. Well, first of all, metaphysics has become a really commonly used term. It was really more unusual about 20 somewhat years ago when I wrote my little book about it.
The Stroke of Genius podcast, hosted by brain aneurysm and stroke survivor Aaron Avila, sharing the experiences of survivors and CEOs. This is your destination for inspiration.
Welcome to Stroke of Genius podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Avila. I got a real special guest and very unique in my book, and really brings a lot of value to the business community. Her name is Anneli Driessen. Hello, Anneli.
Hello, Aaron. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Where you broadcasting from? You're Canada, correct?
Yeah, I'm from a beautiful island, Vancouver Island, which is across from Vancouver in British Columbia in Canada. And I live in Victoria. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Well, yeah, it's globally known as a beautiful place. Anneli, you are CEO of Metaphysical Academy.
Right.
International Metaphysical Academy. Could you please tell everybody out there, because I myself am not alone, what is metaphysics?
Oh, I would be delighted to. Thank you. Well, first of all, metaphysics has become a really commonly used term, but there are also so many definitions on it, and it's very confusing. So if people Google it, you'll find like probably 100 different definitions. So the definitions that we decided on in the academy goes like this. Metaphysics is the study of mind, energy, and matter, and unexplainable phenomena that are often invisible. It deals with universal laws and principles, consciousness, intelligence, mysticism, spirituality, and the purpose of all life here and in the cosmos. So this is not a small matter. It's extremely complex and comprehensive and has many different aspects to it. And so you can imagine having a metaphysical academy is addressing also a huge range of aspects of metaphysics. Metaphysics, as you know from the original term, means above physics. But we know now that physics is metaphysics. There is really no more distinction. Everything has come closer, and we find so many ways to measure what we held to be true, to be just out there and nebulous and having no substance. But there is fine material substance. And as you mentioned many times, everything is energy. And we are all interconnected. But within energy, there are many different forms, and that is what we address in the academy in quite some detail within a very extensive curriculum program.
Yeah, it's amazing if you think about it. To me, it's a foundation of life.
Absolutely.
And if a business can learn to use metaphysics in the business, success is inevitable. It's inevitable. To what degree is that person up to that person? But if we can because I know I'm a spiritual man. Mm-hmm. So I'm using metaphysics in my own company automatically because I'm a spiritual person. But I think it's amazing, and I find what you're doing is cutting edge. It's really when I encourage any audience member out there, contact Anneli. You'll be shocked and surprised how metaphysics can help their business. But I do want to ask you, how does learning metaphysics, Anneli, help a company? How does it tangibly work?
As you well know, the success of a company really depends on its leader. And if leaders have done their own or are doing their ongoing personal work to advance spiritually and intellectually and emotionally and on every other level, it must and will have a direct impact on their staff, on their organization, on the way how they make decisions, how they do things, how they relate not only with their staff and their board members perhaps, but also with their family, but especially in their relationship with themselves. About 20 years ago or so, I was a very active member for about 25 years in an organization called Sales and Marketing Executives International. And through my membership, I had access to very successful, long-term successful CEOs. And I interviewed about 50 of them or so. And I wanted to know, what is it about you that makes your company so successful for 20, 30, 50 years in some cases? And I identified a number of traits that I then put together in a little book. Now, this is not, a dissertation type style. It's more conversational. And I wrote down what I found. And all these men and women had certain character traits or certain traits in common. And I can share this, and really in the bigger picture, they are metaphysical, meaning they are more than what they initially seem to be. And they can be acquired to learning and personal growth and dedication. It is an intrapersonal commitment that any leader makes to advance and to learn more about life and see life in a much grander perspective, not only what we see and sense with our physical senses. There is so much more to know, and it's exciting and beautiful, and it just has literally no bounds.
I get so excited about this because you speak my language. And I could see how if you could teach a company's leaders become attuned with energy, and then they begin to lead those people with that energy they've been given or received. It's powerful. It's extremely powerful. So I'm just amazed at that.
And you said you don't know that much about it, but really your whole approach, from what I have been observing, is very spiritual, it's very metaphysical. And so, there may be just a difference in terminology, which is often the case in that field. And when we need to do what we're doing now, which is to investigate, what do we mean with these different terms? What is it all about? But Aaron, one of the things I really want to stress is that metaphysical knowledge is really important. Metaphysics is not just feeling. It's not just dealing with cards or dealing with crystals or dealing with, the kind of things that allow us.
Woo-woo, you call it woo.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, but really, metaphysical knowledge is down-to-earth practical knowledge. It's a practical philosophy that has to do with how we live life, how we deal with our partners, how we deal with our children, our staff, our next-door neighbor. That is what is spiritual. It's not just in one particular arena, and it's very hands-on. And that is something that I really want to emphasize, which is what we're doing with the Academy, is sharing new knowledge, new information, but information that's useful, that's applicable, that makes us better people, that makes us honest people, courageous people, people who truly care and not just do lip service. Also people who have enormous amount of courage, because as you know, sometimes it's you are alone in your decision making, and you may not have your board or your staff or your managers support you. And there are many ways to learn how to be strong, to communicate properly, and to always with whatever you do, say, what is my highest calling right now? How am I now the most successful, most responsible, most loving and competent leader in that moment? And that's not that easy sometimes, because it may go against what other people think or feel, or even your own employees. And as you can imagine, there are many skill sets necessary to become a super leader. And that is not something that happens just through a meditation or learning how to channel energy or these kind of things. It's a very in-depth, personal, ongoing transformation and growth.
You know, that I'm so glad you took the time to explain that, because this interview is probably going to have, it's already having a tremendous impact on me personally, because I think what happens is out there's the woohoo feeling, non-tangible interaction with the spiritual realm, but there is a tangible physical relationship between the spiritual and physical world. Like, I appreciate taking the time and clarifying that. Let's take a quick minute, and we'll pause for commercial. Okay.
Okay.
No, no, no. We belong together.
Well, we're back. Thank you, Anneli, Dr. Annaleigh. Here we are with Dr. Annaleigh at the International Metaphysical Academy. And this is not only going to transform my company, but it's going to transform me as a person. I can see the difference I'll take. It's like a next step, Annaleigh, to spirituality is, like you see, is kind of non-tangible, but you're bringing the tangible in the spiritual. That it is amazing. I appreciate that tremendously.
At the same time, we talk about it being, needing to be down to earth and practical here, but it also includes knowing that this life here is a small segment of our entire existence. Life goes on after our physical body is gone. And so what we have to do now in this existence with these bodies, in these genders, or anything in between, whatever it is, or whatever culture we are in, we have a very specific learning process to handle, and we need to use the time well. I always emphasize that to the people I work with. Don't waste your time hanging around somewhere or sitting on the couch or being miserable or being depressed or feeling like a victim. That is so easy to do right now with the last 2 years, that we just throw in the towels and say, it's too much, I can't deal with it. Or we deaden ourselves with alcohol or drugs or activities that are not serving us. This is the time now to be strong and to get through this and to make an impact in the world. And we can only do that when we are true to ourselves and do the work necessary to be present every day and be there in the best way possible, and not let ourselves be run down or be angry or whatever other opportunities we have or to react. This is the time to act and to think and to reflect, and I cannot stress that enough, Aaron, and to really have faith. There is an overall order that is positive, that is good, and many refer to it as, of course, as God. Others refer to it as universal intelligence or the universe or all that is, or the creator. It doesn't matter. Something is in great order in the universe, and we can trust that. The chaos that we are going through here is short-term, and it's man-created. God didn't create that, and we have to get out of this, and we need to find ways to make that happen. And it is possible. I have seen people's life changing tremendously. I'm also a certified coach, so in a number of areas, I have had the privilege to work with CEOs individually, very, very intimately, very privately, on their issues and their blockages that they have. And they often are really related to old beliefs or blockages that have to do with beliefs, negative beliefs about themselves and life in general. And there are beautiful ways to release that and to see people blossom and become more of who they really are as a beautiful soul. And that is, that's, I often say, that's my biggest pay, my biggest reward when I see that happen, and I see the joy again coming back, and the optimism and the faith, not just in God, but faith in life and in our possibilities that we have here to play our part to make this world a little bit better.
My goodness, you got me so pumped and so excited about what you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about transformation, really. I mean, it's exciting. I would highly recommend anybody out there to contact Dr. Annaleigh and look into this, because there's an energy about this that resonates deep inside me as a man, as a person, as a spiritual being, that resonates. This is correct. And definitely contact Dr. Annaleigh when you get that chance, when you get that chance. Annaleigh, would you please tell us what you could do for our audience members that are out there listening? You're going to give an hour free.
Absolutely. Sure. It's my pleasure to work with anyone or meet with anyone. There is no strings attached. You might want to just check in with me, and we have conversation. You don't have to see that as a sales job, because I also know that unless we know each other, like each other, trust each other, we will not be effectively working together, should there be something like this. So I would be delighted to be there and maybe offer you any kind of perspective on a question you may have about your life or your business, or just yourself, and would like to explore it, or anything else. It's totally open. And yeah, I'm there for you. You just contact me and we set it up. I would be just honored to meet with anyone who sincerely wants to explore more about life, a good life, and maybe a metaphysically more directed and spiritual life.
Man, like I said, I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for saying what we're saying. I think what you're on could be cutting edge. And you and I are both members of Jeffrey Hazel's C-Suite network. And it's amazing to me how many people within the community are spiritual minded.
Very. Yes.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah. And that is, for me, it's so beautiful to see. It's still not en vogue to speak much about spirituality or metaphysics. But what I have been also observing is the attitude, the dedication to their work, the dedication to serve is just with the vast majority of members of C-Suite and other executive networks that I have been working with. So there is really a change happening, and it's so beautiful and reassuring for me that people are more open to talk about it, and it's not anymore something we have to only talk about behind doors. It is something that it becomes more and more acceptable, and what a blessing and what a beautiful change it is worldwide, literally, because I have global contacts now, and it's absolutely beautiful and phenomenal to see the changes that are happening, changes that I could not see 20, 30, 40 years ago.
I agree. It's funny because my wife and I are going through this very exact same thing, but we're seeing an awakening, so to speak. There's a global awakening occurring within this world. Don't be political. Don't worry about being right or left, but realize there is a much bigger force, spiritual force, metaphysical force that's occurring out there, the spiritual awakening occurring. I'm just amazed at what I'm seeing out there, because I picture what we're seeing out politically, the fighting, the discord, whatever. It's really a spiritual battle that's occurring, but it's manifesting itself in the physical world. And so don't be distracted. Don't you agree? What we're seeing out there is really a spiritual war that's taking place, but it's manifesting itself in the physical world.
Well, I would like to add something, Aaron, if I could. I have met you through C-Suite about almost 2 years ago or so, or a year ago. I don't recall exactly, but you are such an inspiration. You are bringing so much light to the world through what you went through, and regardless of your disabilities now of clearer speech and all that, you just do it. It's so amazing. And I was thinking this morning, here I am so concerned about my makeup and what I'm going to wear and all this, and here you are, you're just giving all of yourself with whatever you are right now, without worrying about how you are perceived. And it's sort of a little bit shameful to me that I'm so worried about all these outer things rather than looking even more to the core of what's really important. And so you really are a tremendous inspiration for me too, and have me look at my, some of the things that I find so important, and how really unimportant they are, because it's our spirit and soul that needs to come through. And it doesn't matter what clothes I wear or what makeup I have or what hair color I have, whatever it is totally secondary. So thank you for being that part of an inspiration for me.
Well, that was pretty humbling, I think, Bob, because as you know, who I am, what I am, is not,
Yeah.
it is metaphysical, it is spiritual.
Yeah.
Who I am as a man is not
That's right. Yeah.
anything I do, anything clothes I put on. It's something inside me. It's I appreciate that. It means a lot to me coming from you. I appreciate that. I got to say something. When I first joined the C-Suite Network, Dr. for Drug Survivor, but I had never heard when Jeffrey Hazlett said people over profit.
Mhm.
I mean, what did he just say?
Mhm.
People over profit.
Mhm.
That really is what it's all about. It's what we're doing right now. What it putting your company is putting people over profit,
Mhm.
and I find that absolutely inspirational to
It's
me.
a total paradigm shift, from how business was run in the past and still is run for very many, but it's changing. And these are the kind of things I'm working with when I work with someone individually, and the transformation for the company and the growth of the company is amazing. People then want to work with you. They want to come to work. They buy into your mission. They have ownership. They know that they're really cared about. And if things are difficult, their boss will take care of them in the way he or she can. That is such a shift from just forcing and pushing people for profit all the time. It's a it's a 180-degree turn. It's incredible.
It really is. I mean, that was transformational stuff. When I heard Jeff when I heard Jeff say that,
Mhm.
it set me back because how many corporations, how many of us are used to the corporate talking head talking at you,
Mhm.
not treating you like an individual, not treating you spiritual energy, but talking at you.
Mhm.
And those days are over. And I'm so glad they are. And here you are leading the charge. So, how do people get hold of you? What is the best way to initiate initial contact? Take advantage of your free.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, you can reach me through my website, of course, metaphysicalacademy.com, but you can contact me directly to my, write to me an email, Anneli at metaphysicalacademy.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can read a little bit more. And I would highly recommend to look at the website and see what kind of philosophy we have and see if it resonates. If it doesn't, it's no sense to connect. But if you see that there is something there, or you feel that there is something there that makes sense and that you would like to explore, please connect. That's what I'm here. I have a calling with this academy. I'm doing it because I have to. I cannot not do it. So I'm here, and I'm here to serve. And I would love to meet with anyone who wants to meet with me.
That was absolutely great. Because I want to encourage you. Obviously, an international metaphysical academy is endorsed by Stroke TV Media. I encourage you, If you have any curiosity at all, whether Anneli can help you, you reach out and email, send an email. I put her email and my ticker down below. But if you definitely pursue it, it can be, I think it'll transform you as a person, and you as a CEO, you as a leader. Your company will change. You will you'll find the very same thing I do. You would just have to train your leaders, and all of a sudden that will trickle down to the rest of people. It's amazing. So Anneli, thank you so much for being with us. I really do appreciate it.
It's a real honor. Thank you. And thank you for all you do. You're just amazing.